afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast from your host Imperial Name, the one, the only master of propaganda. Off here to a 1 versus 1 on Crossroads. This time I got it right. In the north, it is Borobadger fighting for the Soviet Union, socialism, and the Marxist ideals laid down by Lenin. Taking on the role here of the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps with Soviet Shark Army Advanced Warfare and Guard Rifle Combined Arms Tactics, tasked with rooting out the fascists in this sector under the control of Coh2, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here with the 16th Panzer Division here, forming up the elite troops doctrine with double infantry Panzerfaust. We're going to the MD42 start versus double conscripts. Standard openings there from both players as they commit to the most serious and ultimate fighting of this particular session. And as always, please remember to like, subscribe and share and press that bell button so more people like to see the video, but you also more likely to get the video up to you by YouTube. And if you like what I do, you can also donate or pledge on Patreon, as every dollar helps me to keep doing this day after day, so do consider chucking in if you can. And with those brief messages out of the way, we return to our regularly scheduled glorious action. This stuff of dreams, though whose dreams I'm not entirely sure of. 3rd conscript there for Borobadger, sandbags there, thoroughly being thrown down to the ground alongside some dirt. Always I find one of the highlights of a higher, more experienced players, they just throw down sandbags wherever they can, almost. Like, if any sector looks like it's going to see any sort of decent action, they'll chuck down sandbags and have a very fighting position there. So the Wehrmacht's going to do is, I'm not very good on the offense against, like, it just tends to really just take the wind out of them. So it's in very sense, it's sort of a very good sort of counter tactic, just the Grenadiers walking up too. Sandbags here as well, very good there for Borobadger. So we'll of course have to see how Coh2 decides to counter that. Of course, machine guns and mortars are the one way. That way you can use the machine guns to pin them down behind the sandbags, then mortar them out and just move the Grenadiers elsewhere. 4th conscript there for Borobadger. So far maintaining a good control of the field here. Coh2 very extended though, certainly will be a bit vulnerable. And certainly won't be able to push out the conscripts here where they're all on parade behind the sandbags. 4th conscript almost down there for Borobadger. We got Grenadiers versus conscripts. S54s from Rosen Guns versus K9TKs. More Grenadiers moving up there. Poor Jurgen drops dead as the conscripts pursue his entire unit hotly. In these MD42, there's a conscript, they're quickly hosing him down, but he's really going to need the MD42 here to deal with those conscripts as well, since they're larger numbers, but our way routed there beneath a furious thunder of machine gun fire that leaves the conscripts rattled and, more importantly, running. Quick occupation of the house here to slow down the surge as the machine guns being hauled over to the centre sector there, where Borobadger is making a serious build-up here against Coh2 and the 16th Panzer Division. MD42 sitting up. He should be able to catch some of the conscripts and suppress them. Though it's going to, I think, have to angle itself a bit better right here. Oh, actually managed to suppress those. Interesting. Guess someone had their head poked out. And then, of course, as soon as one unit gets suppressed, like there's this sort of AoE suppression happening, that means other units, even they're like properly having cover, can also get suppressed. So that's why you always want, like, if you have multiple units in heavy cover, they absolutely need to all be properly in heavy cover, otherwise you can get like the entire unit suppressed. So that's a fun little detail there about how suppression works, which you may not hear a lot about there. Conscript there being suppressed on his charging in. They're a bit aggressive here though. He does have concussive grenade to make it easy. There you go, conscript suppressed. Engineers flanking up there, the flamethrower, very good. And these pioneers routed by conscript that almost got them wiped there though. That was some pretty brutal fighting between two combatants, which will likely not go down in the history books. Comes to those Grenadiers routed. Coh2 there is taking up, very good. Might be seeing some fast stormtroopers that could be quite effective. Of course, getting G-53s on those Grenadiers could also be quite effective, as all of these conscripts that Borobadger so far is unleashing onto the battlefields of World War II. Pixelated World War II. Ooh. That feels like a bad call there by Coh2. I mean, he must have been hoping the flamethrower engineers had just moved on entirely, but this just seems like a bait, to be honest, and Coh2 just took it hook, line and sinker. Very unfortunate, but good bait by Borobadger, good bait. Could also have been misclicked by Coh2, that is also a possibility. Either way, worked out for Borobadger. Like to make a nice company up here. We'll have to see what it goes for. Fast 2-2. Could be an option here. Half attack to back up his troops, or flamethrower after just to burn through Borobadger's troops. Could also work out. In this regard, Coh2 right now has a sizable amount of opportunities, like in options there before him. It's the question is just which options does he pick and what does he then sort of follow up with. Back here, the troops reinforcing. Medic bunker up there. His Grenadiers have seen much better days, for most of them quite scuffed up. And that's just the uniforms. Mines down there from Borobadger. Conscripts using the centre victory point. 250 on half-track. We'll have to see if it's going to be one of the new wave that uses it for reinforcement and healing purposes, or he's going to use it for the flamethrower, in which case he's sort of more old wave half-track guy. What'll be interesting to see though. Well, medic bunker almost done. I mean, again, with a regular half-track, you can just stuff they're going to use and start the half-track, move them to the front line, then pop them out in full condition. That would be a bit faster than just waiting for the mechs to get through them all. But we'll see here what Scoped does, what is within his scope, if you will. Ha ha ha. The puns. They are powerful. But there you go, it's the Flampanzer Wagen there, which we actually haven't seen in a while. It's definitely sort of, shall I say, fallen out of the usual scope of Wehrmacht metagame. In fact, we've seen more regular half-tracks being used to sort of support troops and all that than we've seen flamethrower half-track. So I suppose it's a bit of a nice return to form for some viewers. But there you go, engineers routed. Flamethrower's almost done. A flamethrower half-track would have used to been part of a, I believe it was a battalion command asset, or could have been a regimental command sort of unit asset there. Usually there'd be a small platoon attached. I think there was the, again, like battalion headquarters unit, or again it could be regiment, but I think it's battalion. It'd be sort of a small platoon. They usually have sort of small specialists like that attached to them. So little fun fact there about organisation. But there you go. Pushing around the country there who haven't researched anti-tank grenades, quite effective while that lasts, which ever's long. Unless your opponent is really caught in a bad time in terms of resources. But there you go. Comes from the retreat, there's the flamethrower, just burns away. And it is, they need to be careful they don't get singed as well. The apparently German fire knows friend from foe. Which is slightly impressive in a strange way. Our anti-tank grenade goes off there. Scopes 250 on the half-track with the damage, and you've got Stormtroopers popping up here, adding MP40s. It looks like, is he gonna wait there? I mean, it might be he's trying to return the favour there to Borobadger by hiding them, sort of trying to bait him into the building, and then of course hose him down with MP40s. Shh, be very quiet, we're hunting for Russians. There we go, straight into that closer than engineers. Well, of course, while they have the flamethrower, can't really respond well to MP40s at that range when they're already low on health. So there you go, Stormtroopers chatting at the conscripts. Bit of a nice counter-attack here, but Scope turning otherwise awkward retreat there into a possible opportunity to push Borobadger back in the defense again. Good play there. Noting that Borobadger has got the support component, but it's not doing anything with it. Comes there being shot to bits, and there you go, tactical advance as well. Very good there. Nice aggressive usage of it. Has a good chance of getting a wipeout, though. In this case, I'm taking a few too many casualties with the arriving of other infantry arriving there, but I like the idea there, though. I like the idea there by Scope. That was definitely a nice attempt. Sometimes it works there, sometimes it doesn't. Falling back entirely, but we can see that Borobadger has researched Molotov, so pretty good instincts there by Scope. I don't think he's actually tossed them apart yet. Tank to tank command up, probably going to be a fast T7. We've got the 222 up for Scoped. Flamethrower up, 222 combo, so we haven't seen that one in a while. Worth noting, he has not laid down any tunnel mines, which could be a slight helpful insurance there against any T70s. Troops reinforcing. Still no sign of doctrine from Borobadger. But he does have ample opportunity. I mean, advanced warfare is not a doctrine we see a lot of, but T-35s can be good with submachine guns backing them up. In fact, the overwhelming thing here to keep worth is all of the doctrines are from submachine gun upgrades for his conscripts, so there's a very high likelihood he's going to be going for a lot of submachine guns and really just begin putting pressure on the Scope's infantry. I like that. I mean, he's very much consistent about certain elements of his strategy. I mean, there's some variety beyond that. I mean, there's medium premiums, there's heavy tanks, there's artillery, you know, you got some air support, but like one of the overall things he's absolutely sure of is he wants submachine guns for his men. Like, he may depend on what else, you know, surrounds these men with, but definitely by, you know, Stalin's glorious mustache, do they get submachine guns? And that sort of consistency is, you know, something you gotta respect. T7 on the way there for Borobadger. Telemark to be a really great addition here for Scoped. Probably check them about here or here, maybe along the road here. We got S-Mine? No, Telemark up there. It's not actually a bad spot in a sense. I mean, some people like to stay close to buildings, as you can see here, and it's also going to be a bit tricky to spot with mine sweeps in case the opponent has them, because again, like naturally, they're just getting more obscured by the building in a lot of situations. So it's an interesting setup there by Scope. An interesting setup though. We'll have to see how it works out. Not necessarily the one I would have gone for, but I can see the logic behind it, and likely it has worked out for Scope. I always don't think he'd do it like here. Got the info to using the sandbags. Borobadger laid down against him. Very good there. Incendiary armor piercing going to be a great pick here to just increase the damage versus the infantry. Maybe not again with the T-70. There we go. He does pop it a bit late. With the re-exposed in the T-70, going to do some heavy damage to it in theory. But there you go. Constantly hose down. Half-tech getting away. Pantherfast off the T-70. Can actually turn the machine gun on it now with the re-exposed. Could deal some nasty damage to the T-70 light tank. He's a bit slower than actually focusing it down there. Possibly a missed opportunity. Then again, it may not have done enough damage, but could have been a warning signal there to Borobadger. Don't get too close to the machine gun gewehr. You might get burned. I mean, MG42s did run hot. In fact, so hot that crews, I believe, were handed asbestos gloves so they could change the barrels without burning their hands. So, little fun fact there. Tego there for scope, taking advantage of, you know, he's just sizable resource advantage. He's got good macro time. He's getting 48 fuel versus 10. He's getting almost 5 times as much fuel right now than his opponent. That's a lot of fuel. So, I mean, he's really just sort of pulling ahead here, which is really what you want to be doing in this situation. In particular, you might want to rush an Osman, and there you go. Borobadger, as a Borobadger does, begins handing out PPS-41s for his infantry. Fun fact in terms of sword organization, least equipment. Roughly by 1944-45, half of all infantry units in, like, you know, any sort of, well, corps or division would have been equipped with submachine guns. Like how the Germans went, you know, slowly heavy on machine guns and assault rifles and all that, the Swords went hard in on submachine guns. Little fun fact there. Dunnies are being routed by the T-70 light tank. No more telemines here from Scoped. Pack 40 on the way there for Scoped to deal with the T-70 as well. Probably also just in case something else happens while he's taking up. He doesn't, you know, get completely caught with his leader hosing down his ankles. Though if you can rush out an Austin right now here, I think that could actually be GG for Scoped. I mean, right now, Borobadger has very few hard counters than Ostwind. And of course, the Ostwind would be quite effective as all this infantry, plus the T-70. So, an Ostwind rush right now would be, I think, a game-winning move, possibly for Scoped here. Stormtroopers out there on the right flank there, ready to ambush anyone trying to sneak out. Pretty much expecting, like, anything that goes out east, because Borobadger keeps focusing on the center there. It's going to be an easy pick. That's actually, so far, a very good read here on Borobadger, who's fighting very hard. He might want to just consider the swinging hard east to play around Scoped in his current tactics, because right now Scoped is just baiting Borobadger into these kill zones. But I think it's because, you know, he's got these resources still, so he's more willing to commit to these engagements, despite sometimes they might be considered slightly fruitless, because he's got that. So it's a bit of a possible sunk cost fallacy that might be going on here with Borobadger. Of course, he could turn it into, you know, real benefit again, but depending on how Scope does this and, you know, how Borobadger does this could easily just be something that sinks Borobadger. But there you go. Pack 4 lands a great here on the T-70 light tank. Honestly, at this point, Borobadger should consider some support weapons, field guns or mortars maybe. There you go, Sicily field gun. That's a very good pick then. It's going to be necessary because Scoped here has got the support crop, and again, he can hit with an Ostwind very soon. In fact, he could possibly get away with double Ostwinds, which could possibly, again, be absolutely good night for Borobadger and the 3rd Mechanized Corps. Are we? Most of the countries have been upgraded with submachine guns. He might go for sort of 50-50 split, like half squads have submachine guns, the other half has mobilized reserves once he gets there. And there you go, nice ambush here. Way down to the gut within distance and pop tactical advance. Beautiful there by Scoped. 2 thumbs up. That was well done. Mechanized armor company up here for Borobadger. Ostwind here again would be, I think, a game-winning coup. He goes to the Panzer IV instead. I mean, considering the overall situation, which is he's been able to control the field quite well versus Borobadger, and he's got a T-70 out as well. Like, there's no sign of him getting out of tank fast. So I feel like the Panzer IV is Scoped either being too cautious or having a poor read on his opponent, because, like, right now, Flak Panzer would just, I feel, be the better option. Like, it would just move in and just mow down most of Borobadger's infantry and threaten the T-70 as well. Plus, for the Pack 40, like, even if he gets this wrong, I don't think he'd be in too bad of a shape anyways, but that's just me. He's laying down lots of S-mines, so I mean, in this regard, you know, thumbs up to Scope there, though he could also use his half-tech to lay down Schützenminen here and there, and more telemines, I think, would all be a good idea there for him. Looks like that got cleared out, actually. Panzer out there, though, for Scoped, for the fatherland. the 16th Panzer Division. Field gun opening up there. Engineers, though, pinned down to the ground. Ooh, almost got a full back than the MD-42 with that SIS-3 field gun barrage. Very nasty stuff there for scoped. Panther moving in, T-77 as well there for Borobadger. Stormtroop's going to be moving and engaging his troops. Need to retreat there. He's already shot one infantry squad. He hasn't replaced it. It'll be pretty harsh there for Borobadger to lose another infantry squad now. Would be very harsh. Troops falling back here. T sending westwards. Another SIS-3 here for Borobadger. Of course, gives them a lot of anti-tank firepower, but again, doubling as artillery, they can also allow them to push against scoped at times. It's starting to put more pressure into these, but I really feel like he just needs to give up on this for the time being. Another sort of focus hard west and try to play around here. We need to sort of go through here and then sort of get up here. I feel like these sort of head-on assaults aren't particularly good for Borobadger because they don't play to his strengths. Plus, they sort of allow Scope to focus more of his firepower into a much more narrow, area, which makes it easier for him just to slow down Borobadger's forces. So let's go. Borobadger, I think, needs a tactical rethink, or he needs to hope Scope makes some sort of sizable strategic blunder. And hello, he's going for tier 4. Well. Ask, and I suppose you may get lucky. Tier 4, I feel like it's definitely a bad call by Scope. Like, he's so frantic, and he should just be chunking out Ostvins and Panzer 4s and whatnot here versus Borobadger and just look to finish this. I mean, tier 4 is just might be a sign of overconfidence here, but Scoped, or he's one of those few who still thinks it's actually a good move. Like, even the Tiger AC, I mean, it's just too slow for Scoped. I mean, he's still 4 command points away from doing anything with it, so even like if somebody gets to push it out, it's going to give his opponent ample time to get back into the battlefield here. So even if he's going for the Tiger Ace, which is good, unlike most of tier 4, the current way that Scope is approaching this is still ineffective. Troops setting out there. MD-4 have been caught by contrast on the east side. Borobadger's bounding assault continues here through the west side as Scope's left flank is rapidly collapsing like a wet paper bag. And something that pushes it back quickly. We got Flamethrower after they continue to cause havoc on the eastern side here, halfway to Veteran 2, and increased, but not really a lot that helps it. Like, it becomes faster, but it doesn't really do more damage or something like that. Getting too close to their Consul, they went into a tank grenade damaging the engine. Consul reinforcing there. Looks like we'll be seeing our mobilized reserve for that one. Could consider calling in some guards with anti-tank rods to help put pressure and then Scope's vehicles. Storms were setting out there halfway to Veteran 2. That's back for Borobadger's space. He's likely going to go here for the KV-1 or the H-5, further punishing here Scope for pulling straight for the Tiger Race, possibly with just a Panzer 4. Since again the Panzer 4 versus the KV-1 is a pretty bad matchup. T-Son on the Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers quick to pop a smoke grenade there, good response by Scoped, and then pulls back undercover smoke. Thumbs up there. Gonna use the close to Veteran 3. And yes, I do pull my thumbs up when, I do say thumbs up. Because someone did ask that, and I guess they felt like, it'd be a bit sad if I didn't do it. So I do, put my thumbs up when I say thumbs up. Panzer 4 moving up here, engaging the T-70. Not so spectacular as it misses. In fact, might even kill one of his own there. Oh, that didn't happen. They've done his Scopes getting wiped out. So many bullets, so much death there. Got wiped there. And Scopes actually now lost several Grenadier escorts. He's down just one Grenadier and one Stormtrooper escort. He will need to replace his infantry. I mean, you see he's got the manpower because the Tiger Ace is still 3 command points away. So, there's no point in just floating so much manpower with insufficient infantry versus Borobadger, who's still got 3 conscript squads. And he could easily add in more infantry. I'm surprised he isn't though either. I mean, both players there in this regard, I would say, are a bit lax in that department. Scope does at least bring up another machine gun, but he could still do with at least one more infantry squad. T-70 field gun then hot pursuit. Flamethrower moves straight into the field guns there to take a nasty hit. Engine out, smoke screen popped here to try and cover up any potential retreat here from the Soviets, and there you go, didn't work. Panther moving eastwards. can run, but you can't hide from the 76.2mm high armor-piercing shell. As it turns out, Patrol going to right here at Borobadger's base. A bold move there by Scope. Could backfire on him, but if it works out, it's going to be certainly nasty. Throwing in the base entrance. Flamecraft coming up. He close to two storms in the center here. Oh, catching both field guns, but the Flamecraft here, I think he's not going to be able to do sufficient damage fast enough to the field gun. And there you go. Storms are being murdered in the process. Incendiary rounds to the field gun. So that's not bad. In fact, cleared one out. As we can see, machine guns are quite effective versus field guns. There's just the other one with buying. You can see that it's just completely killing them so fast. And the reason it does that is because anti-tank guns cannot be suppressed. And the thing is, machine guns, when the unit gets suppressed, they can take a lot less damage. So in most cases, they don't do a lot of damage. This guard, he got killed by the field gun bombardment. That was definitely the slight issue that Scope's plan now to hand over a machine gun to his opponent. So that ended up backfiring on him. I like the idea though from Scope, but you know, no matter how I look at it though, it backfired on him. You should have focused on the field gun that's actually pointing his machine gun first. But it was a good highlight just again how machine guns can be powerful counters versus anti-tank guns. K1 on the way there for Borobadger, still floating manpower. I really think he should expend it. And similarly, Scope there, well, it's not floating as much, but he clearly just is holding his resources, like, you know, open for the Tiger Race as soon as he calls it in. But he's put so many resources on hold there. He's allowed Borobadger at least to get somewhat back in the fight here. And now with the K1 and 2 field guns, the Tiger Race may not be quite as fully effective as Scope would be hoping for. I mean, he's still got an upper hand. He's still got most of the victory points, but things could get slightly ugly there for Scope there, depending how things go. Also, he still needs to build the heavy panzer, of course. He seems to have forgotten that. Possibly. He may not, he hasn't, but if he did build it, he would also remember he'd get in experience towards command punch fighting. He might like to be able to get out the Tiger. He's just a tad faster. But there you go. K1 heavy tank out here for Borobadger. Stormtroopers waiting out there, close to Veteran 2. Borobadger in there with a few more guns for the pine towards the center, making it hard there for Scope to pull through. And there you go, another machine gun for Scope, plus a mortar. He still hasn't built a heavy panzer core though. See some machine for Pack 40. Obviously wants the mortar to help deal with the field guns and whatnot. That's a good move by Scope. But it is slightly feel like distracting. Oh no! He even had target weak point there ready, and then the K1 moves in. It moves the Pack 40, cancelling the target weak point, and now allows the K1 to actually take out his Pack 40 much more easily because, you know, now it can't stop up to shoot at the K1. And the mortar's getting caught in as well here. This is turning into a bit of a mess there for Scope. He's very close to the Tiger Ace. He's more than got the fuel now. He's actually put himself behind a manpower, and he still needs to get the heavy panzer go up here. Slightly awkward situation here for Scope. Borobadger there, certainly taking advantage of, I think, Scope's strategic misstep there. Need to get that heavy panzer caught, the Scoped. March now, and there goes Stormtroopers caught here. Guards pulled out here for Borobadger. Spending some of their manpower. Finally, there goes Stormtroopers, really caught in a bad spot. In fact, wiped out, I think, here. Quite a blow. There's the Scopes now down to just one infantry squad. That is really bad, actually. That is really critically bad, and that really puts Scope in a very awkward position. And he still hasn't built the heavy panzer cores, so now, while he has the command points in theory of the resources, he doesn't have the buildings, he can't call it in, so that's going to be a further delay there to Scoped. And certainly more time to Borobadger. He used to add more to the field here versus Scoped. Quickly setting up the eastern side here as Scope's attention now is on the western fields where Borobadger's army is largely parked. Smokes down the field gun, not too shabby, but there you go. Field gun about again on the MG42. Heavy panzer core finally going out for Scope, but again, it further delays the Tiger Ace, but he has to build it now. So ultimately, his Tiger Ace rush, as that was what effectively was, pretty much hits a bit of a snag there. Due to slightly more awkward execution, again highlighting also just the dangers of a Tiger Ace rush or any sort of like late game rush, because it does require sort of chain things together very solidly, and of course handling your resource management much more tightly. And right here for Scope, that didn't quite pan out. So while he could have had his Tiger Ace in theory much faster than he actually currently has, I mean, in the end it ends up being minutes delayed. K1 there, almost fixed up. Very close to the Tiger Ace. And certainly the Tiger Race is going to be an issue for Borobadger, but, I mean, considering that Borobadger's not able to see back most of the map, he's got several field guns, he's got the K1, he's got plenty of infantry and scope compared to his little infantry support this Tiger Race with. I mean, the strain for Borobadger is going to be less immediately, pressing. But there you go. At the 25-minute mark, scope calls in the mighty Tiger Race. A hero of Germany to throw back the Allies. 85 tanks were there for Borobadger, very good. Quick hosing them down. Come the escort there. Tiger is charging in. Machine gun crew expires again. Doing his best to keep the Soviets off the machine gun there. Tiger is charging up. Need to go, of course, with the field guns. First one there, he got lucky, didn't get pelted with a tank grenade, but there you go. Shots bouncing off the Tiger takes thick frontal armor. Coming is right there by the console with the sight machine guns, proving to be too much. Got the flamethrower tech moving up. 85 almost done here. And this guy did also highlight, I think, that Borobadger had a pretty good read there and scope. They're setting up for the 85 after the K1. That means 2 anti-tank guns and a tank destroyer backing up the K1 here with the Tiger Ace. And that's going to make it much harder here for scope to really make much off the Tiger Ace. Ooh, missed there on the retreating console support. K1 moving into block there though. Guard squad, they're going for the MD, or the mortar, but they're getting called by the MD. Tiger Ace, the K1 back down with the Panther 4. Shots missing or bouncing, and there you go. K1 taking several hits. But now we got the 85 in the field and ready to block any further moves by the Tiger Ace. Machine gun there, about to get recruited, one would imagine. West side, they could see, I think, a fresh push there by scoped. We got 331 miss on that 82. And we got Pack 40 moving ahead, round from the T-70 and the K1, and of course the field gun, which can easily counter it with a barrage. With a bit of light on top of that as well. Panther moving into pop smoke, we've also got the 85 still there. Pack cleared out. Charging it with the Tiger Ace. Almost got the K1, that's going to be a big one there. 4 scope and get rid of that. But at the same time, the fleet of conscripts and the damaged engine, which of course would leave Scope's Tiger Ace in a very bad spot, pretty much compels him to pull it back there. And these points have been secured. Flamethrower after there with 11 kills. Conscript field gun moving about, seizing the southern point here with the MG42. Back here, troops in reinforcing. Scope lining up for possibly another push here, but Borobadger's just ever squeezing Scoped. K1 there with 15 kills. Close to veterans who won. Main gun out, but that can quickly be sorted out. Tiger Ace there with 2 kills. Panzer 4 with 6. Schutzen added. Scope really needs to add more infantry though. Like, 1 infantry squad is very much insufficient. He's going for the Panzerwerfer, obviously lots of infantry, lots of field guns, all that. Very good picks to sort of go for a Panzerwerfer against, but you know, a good infantry complement would also give Scope, I think, a lot of usage here versus Borobadger. And the West Grenadier squad hold up at the MD42. He might want to send the flamethrower after to go over there rather than anywhere close to the main front line, since at the moment, if it sends in the flamethrower after there, it's going to go up like, you know, something very flammable. Since it is going to be, you know, a large target. There you go, Tiger Ace moves ahead, pop smoke, quickly disengages. Not entirely sure what that attack was supposed to achieve. I mean, I'm guessing it's trying to do some sort of reconnaissance with the Tiger Ace, but that didn't pan out. Mortar cleared out with the Guardsman. Machine gun holding up the counter, but of course there's a possible field gun barrage there. Scope's assault quickly faltering there, good Guardsman into flank. Panther 4 charging in, Guards squad there, almost being taken up with the Panther 4 Tiger Ace combo. Almost got a wipe there, but not quite. Flamethrower up to trouble with the K1. 16 kills. Good chance of getting a wipe there, but there you go. Tiger Ace, Panther 4 become more pressure to targets. Panther for the barrage off, and where does it go? Oh, up there. Grenadiers moving for a flank, but with only 1 squad, and that Panther barrage not quite being as accurate as it could have been. I think the overall impact, there's going to be more mineral there versus Borobadger. And there you go, T-70 Ace to the rescue, 15 kills. Ace of 5, they're close to Veterans 1, need to fix up that Tiger Ace. Panzerwerfer with no kills. And the machine gun number 2 secure. Right now, Borobadger has a notably larger force here than Scope. He's got plenty of infantry, he's got some machine guns, all of them German. 2 field guns, a K1, a T-7 Ace-5 tank destroyer. Meanwhile, Scope has 2 Pioneers, a Grenadier squad, machine gun mortar, and a mix of tanks and Panzerwerfers and Flamethrower half-tracks. Back here, Tiger Ace being repaired. Troops being healed. Need to fix up that Panzer IV. Got mines being laid down there by Borobadger. Very good move there. Help screaming against a potential flank there from from Scoped. More mines. Very good. And these got the lone machine gun there left to defend what little territory Scoped has there by the lumber yard. Borobadger, of course, can just drive a K1 to quickly route it. That's likely what's going to happen there. Armor still being pepped within Scope's base. And we got them all sitting on the left flank. Looks like about trying to sneak out on the west, but there you go. Flamethrower attack, trying to move to support, ends up being abandoned instead as the crew expires. There we go, utterly destroyed. Utter ruination there for Scope and his Flampanzerwagen. One of these mounts of Panzerfaust, the T-70. Tiger Ace charging in, right in front of the guards, were good buttoned up here in front of the H-5 and the field gun. That's exactly what Borobadger does, punishing Scope there for a less than wisely considered assault. There you go. Panzer Titian off, covering the retreat, but ultimately the Tiger Ace is still kind of stuffed. And there you go, Panther barrage off, probably the field gun. Oh, lots of supporting units nearby. Could allow for a good Panther barrage, except that barrage, I think, was off. I'm not entirely sure what's supposed to happen there, but that barrage completely whiffed. They didn't hit the field gun. Landed short of it quite consistently. He's farming against the Tiger Ace. Tiger Ace almost down. Panzer going for a blitz maneuver there, trying to get past it. Avoiding the mines, very good. K1 here as the Tigers, and there you go. H-5 down, Panther 4 there, halfway to Veteran 3. Shot bounce off the Tiger Ace's frontal armor. Pretty lucky there for Scope at that range. Panzerwaffe down there, that's less lucky. Panther almost got both field guns down its engine. And there you go, K1 almost down, Tiger Ace almost down. Who wins the final shot? Oh! Tiger Ace gets it. Panther 4 got both field guns almost down. Pioneers moving in. Contras moving up, though they could finish off here into tank grenades. He needs stormtroopers into something else. Tiger Ace, of course, needs repairs as well. Grenadier squad moving in, not enough infantry otherwise. Panther 4 with a sliver of health there. Guardsmen moving in. Pioneers being cut to ribbons. Transport shooting another H-5 on the way there for Borobadger. Brutal flatlining here between the two sides. Panther 4 shoots missing. Need to get the Pioneers out of there. Field gun recruit. Mortar. It's very casually firing off rounds. More Pioneers there for Scope. Not enough infantry though. Of course, it will help repair the Tiger Ace and the Panther 4. Of course, he also has access to vehicle crew repair, and he's actually got a ton of munitions floating. That's definitely been an oversight there for Scope. He could have laid down a lot more mines at times, I think, here versus Borobadger. Another oversight. Another H-5 there for Borobadger to help counter the Tiger Ace. And there you go, getting to work on the Tiger Ace. And of course, it really should just run to prop vehicle crew repair. It is, I think, a quite critical element than just keeping the Tiger Ace back in the fight faster. H-5 tanks on number 2 on the way there for Borobadger. Overall, both sides have roughly in terms of pop cap the same units, but how that they're distributed is notably more different here. And this regard, a large chunk of Scope's forces now Pioneers, which is great at repairing the tanks, but less effective as all these conscripts and guardsmen. So, Scope's force composition might be acting in a slightly more awkward short-term measure at the moment. And he's still not popping vehicle crew repairs, but again, he's got a ton of munitions. Like, there's no reason for him to really be floating that much munitions. It's not like there's a super secret tier 7 V1 rocket call in here. You can sort of, call in if he gets like 700 munitions. We'd never hear the end of it that it did exist. Close to the ace over there on the Tiger Ace. Almost good to go. Panther 4 almost good to go as well there for Scoped. We got 146, 176. Borobadger is now the one in charge here versus Scope. He's the one in control. Mortar landing down. He sees an eastern fuel point. Panther 4 rolling ahead here, close to Veteran 3, and there go direct hit from the H-5 tank shot. 85mm armor pistol shell punches through the Panther 4's armor like it was made out of wet cardboard. Panther 4 close to the ace level. Tiger Ace moving up again there, halfway to its own ace level, or hero level, or legend level, how I want to put that one. Or is it a Tiger Ace ace, which just sounds silly, but there you're going in there. Getting the H5 head on. Straight into a mine. That's really bad news for the Tiger Race, in particular with the other field guns nearby. Might be the final mistake here that Scoped Tiger Race finds himself caught into. Because now Borobadger is going all in on it with all of his tank destroyers and his field gun plus conscripts. Probably in part knows that Scope doesn't really have resources for anything else to sort of support this, so there's not really much going to threaten him except like an absolutely brilliantly pulled off Panther 4 flank. H5 they're gaining veterans to 1. Tiger Race they're gaining the hero level there, legend level. But it's also about to, you know, gain a posthumous promotion. There you go, Tiger Race down. That is a massive blow there to Scoped. And honestly, that Tiger Race kind of got wasted with that push. Now support for it, again a lack of infantry support really made it hard for him to gain any progress. Going for a Panther, now at least he's not trying to go for another Tiger Race, but the question is, can the Panther really help at this point? I mean, there's just several tank destroyers, plus the T7, again the tank destroyers just pack so much more punch than the Panther. Panther 4 gaining the ace level, a small win there for Scoped. And a murky sea of despair. There shines a light. The light of the Panzer 4. Troops are healing reinforcing. Panther almost down there for Scoped. Troops they're almost getting good to go there for Borobadger. Panther 4 almost good to go. But again, the obstacles were middle here for Scoped. The enemy is numerous and heavily equipped and armed. Panther going for the T70, shoots and misses. Almost got it. And down he goes. 21 kills and the Panther hits straight into another mine. Again, no infantry support here. It's been bogged down by one of his many stolen machine guns. Scope charging in the hopes of pulling off some sort of dashing maneuver, and again, there's a less prepared opponent. It might have worked, but Scoped, unlike Borobadger, unlike Scoped, has actually been mining very consistently. I mean, Scoped has been mining, but I would say overall considerably less consistent here than Borobadger. And there you go, the tank choice going for it. The Panther again just can't add enough damage, really threatening the H5s in any serious manner, which went backed up by field gun as well. And with that, I think Scoped is very much just toast. Like, victory's very much out of his scope now. He's bleeding out fast. He has pretty much no infantry to speak of. He can't even bring in more tanks. At least he can bring in a Stug on Ostrin, but at this point, I don't think it's going to be sufficient to really turn against Borobadger with the few victory points he's got left. And Borobadger just has a large veteran force here that Scoped is going to have a really difficult time, you know, overcoming. Less than 100 points left here for Scoped. Panther 4 there's about to get knocked out. Main gun is out. Engine is damaged. And there you go. He just charged in with H55 there. And pop goes the weasel. Scope's final Panzerwaffe is gone. And there you go. A victory for Borobadger. A victory for the Soviet Union. A nasty fight here. Certainly showing that a well-handled and aggressively played Wehrmacht can be quite formidable. But it also just shows Wehrmacht Tier 4 really isn't worth it. I mean, part of course also just the way he went for the Tiger Race. That was just, I feel like, a big miss. Like, he should just push to win faster with Ostrins and Stugs. Probably just a lot of Ostrins. And instead, trying to then stall out for the Tiger Race. Really giving Borobadger all the time he needs to sort of, you know, come back into the game. The problem is, again, so like him just packs a punch there compared with the Wehrmacht late game, particularly stuff like Panther Team, the Tiger Race, it ended up just being slightly not well used. Additionally, the lack of interest the game went on really also just further crippled Scope and just made it hard for him to do anything. So, well played by Borobadger. Good early half of Scope, but again, the late game just kind of fell apart. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.